here we are at chapter 4. So if you couldn't have guessed by the beginning of this video, my word count was not ideal for this one. I think that's usually what happens, is like I can start off like decently strong, and then progressively my words get less and less and less and less. Then I have more edits to do as we go because I just don't words. I just, half the time when I'm at this point in writing, it's like 99% just dialogue back and forth because I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to describe stuff. I don't want to talk about like how they spoke or how the character interpreted it. I just don't care. I just, words, boo-doo-doo, conversation. And so that's like what happened. And I thought about going in and trying to fluff it up to hit the word count goal, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to. Like, realistically, I'm not trying to do NaNoWriMo. Like, yes, I am writing in November, but my word count goal isn't necessarily hitting 50K. It's mostly just get the chapters done. And so if this chapter happens to have draft 1 only be a little over 1,000 words, that's okay. That's what editing is for. So I'm perfectly fine with this just staying at a low word count until I go in and do my edit for adding in a bunch of words, which is a round of editing that I do. That's usually the next step, is I have a particular word count goal that I'm aiming towards for each chapter, and then once I hit that, then I move on to the next phases, such as looking at plot, character development, stuff like that. And so for now, it's just like, you know what? It's fine. I found myself with this chapter where I didn't want to write, and I honestly put it off for a couple of days. And I mean, life happens, so that kind of got in the way a little bit. But it was mostly just when I get the idea of writing and then actually sitting down and doing it, I get a little overwhelmed because you just like, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome per se, but it's just the idea of like, what if I'm writing isn't that good? And like, what's the point in this? Like my books aren't selling and like nobody cares. So like, why am I doing this? And then I just have to remind myself like, it'll eventually happen. We just gotta keep sticking with it. And then I also like to watch TikToks. There's a few of the book talkers out there, and oh my, they share some of the worst things written. And it's especially in the more erotica style, which is not my thing, but they share some of the worst things ever written. Like, dudes that are writing these books do not know how female anatomy works at all. And like, a publisher, an editor agreed with this nonsense. And it's like, okay, so if that can be published and people can like that, and it's like a popular book, mine's not that bad. You don't have certain women's body anatomy flapping in the wind. So, you know, like that your ovaries have any kind of reaction at all. They usually are just kind of there. You don't really feel them. But man, men who write as a female character sure do think they do stuff that you don't really feel it much. It's just, some of them are so bad. And so I just like, I have to remind myself of those. And I have a few people that read like random little quotes like that on TikTok that I have followed for that reason. Because I'm like, I need you to show me how bad other people write so that I can keep going. Because you know what? My book might be weird. It might not make any hill of beans of sense. But you know what? It's probably better than that though. And so that was kind of my motivation to get through chapter 4 as I was like debating it and being like, oh, it's hit already, that I'm like, is it even a good book? Is it even worth it? And I listened to that, a couple different videos of that, and I was like, okay, actually, you know what? Mine's not that bad. Let's proceed. And then I just put on some music and wrote for a few hours. And then I've also kind of started to make a different way of scheduling my life, and it seems to be working really well, which also helped where I had a dedicated time that I was just working on it. And if I got to the end, cool. If not, I was at the end of the day gonna have to add it back in. But I finished it early, so that was nice. Figured out it takes me roughly about an hour, hour and a half, if I actually sit down and do not leave my spot until it's done to write a chapter, give or take. Which honestly isn't that bad. And so I just have to keep reminding myself of that as we go. So anyways, that is how chapter 4 is going. I don't know how much I'm going to be talking too much in the next chapters, because I don't know if these videos are going to always be terribly long, because sometimes like there's not a lot to say. And it's also just like kind of talking about the story, kind of talking about how my writing style is changing and evolving, and like the way that I'm going about writing as a career, because this is all still new to me. Doing a job where I am like fully just creative constantly and like you're doing stuff and like creating things all the time, it can be a little overwhelming to like try and finagle everything and make a system that works. And so that's what I've been doing for like almost 6 months now. And I'm getting there. It just takes some time to adjust from the standards that are a regular, you know, 9 to 5, well, really, let's be real, 9 to 6 job. And now it's like, oh, I could work every day and just work a little less every day and have more time between. Or I can work this amount of time and do this and this and this. And then also, like, now I have the flexibility that, like, yesterday my dad needed some help, and so I helped him. We did a project, and guess what? I didn't do a whole lot of work because I did other stuff. But then today I was able to make up for it and get even more work done. And so it's just like this fun balancing act and just trying to like figure out my schedule of existence so that I can continue to do this full time, but also start like making money and like supporting my family. My husband's very supportive. Anyways, thank you for coming along for this video. I would love to hear how your writing is going in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I am sharing my entire journey of writing this book. If you'd like to get the first 2 books, they are always linked in the description down below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.